A few days ago, I uploaded a video looking at an impossible to manage 11 made up of some of the biggest trouble causers and loose cannons within the game right now. Many of you responded asking for the opposite, a very easy to manage 11, so that's exactly what I've got for you all today. I think the dream player for most managers is someone with a fantastic work rate and desire to win, first into training, the last to leave, never kicks up a fuss, ultra professional, sets an example to those around them, all that kind of thing. We want model professionals, perhaps even teachers' pets. If any of you listen to the Peter Crouch podcast, there'll probably be plenty of parched players in this team. As with the last time out, the 11 is in regards to any current players, no retirees, and I'll talk a little bit more about my decisions and any notable omissions at the end. Without further ado then, here is my easiest to manage 11. Goalkeeper, Keylor Navas. I'm not sure everyone will be aware of Keylor Navas' exceptional professionalism, but the Costa Rican is a manager's dream. Navas' career trajectory hasn't gone straight up in a smooth line from the streets of San Jose in Costa Rica to Champions League titles with Real Madrid. Throughout his career, many people have doubted Navas' talents, and he joined both Levante and Real Madrid as backup options before convincing both clubs' coaches to start him. That's because Navas has supreme confidence in his own ability, and he is a magnificent trainer. It was his work on the training ground that convinced Joaquin Caparros and Rafa Benitez to give him a go as number one, and Navas has never looked back. A footballing obsessive, Navas trains hard and studies his opponents diligently before every game, looking for any information that could give him the edge across those 90 minutes. Not only is Navas an excellent goalkeeper, he's a model professional, carrying that drive and determination that comes from being written off so often, so he's my number one. And even if he hadn't been, there's a decent chance he'd convince me in training that he should be. Right back, Lucas Piszczek. A veteran of the game now, aged 35, it is not just with maturity that Lucas Piszczek has become such a fine asset for a manager. More than a decade on, from signing for Borussia Dortmund, Piszczek has made 362 appearances for the Bundesliga side, and he still looks fit as a fiddle due to his tremendous work rate and commitment to the game. Piszczek has a first-class temperament, he's happy to play out of position when asked to do so, and his teamwork has been lauded by many who have played alongside him. The importance of the Polish international was drilled home last month when Borussia Dortmund convinced him to sign a one-year extension to his contract. Piszczek had been due to retire at the end of this season at Dortmund, but he'll now play on for one more season, and it's easy to see why Dortmund wanted to keep him around for reasons both on and off the pitch. Centre-back, Nacho. Whilst Real Madrid have spent much of the last decade with a couple of psychopaths at centre-back, they also have had all-round nice guy Nacho waiting in the wings. Nacho has never been the main man at the Bernabeu, and he never will be, but he's more than content with his role and more than willing to put the team first. Nacho was born in Madrid, and he joined Real at the age of 11. At the age of 12, he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and the Spaniard has had an incredibly strict diet and training routine ever since, one which he credits for his impressive injury record. Although Nacho is never the first man people think of when they think of Real Madrid, he has now played 199 games for the club at the age of 30, filling in capably whenever he has been called upon. A valued member of the Los Blancos squad, Nacho is exceptionally loyal, well-disciplined, and hard-working. He is essentially one of the best squad or utility players on earth, and Real Madrid are lucky to have him. Centre-back, Giorgio Chiellini. Joining Nacho in the heart of our defence is a player who very much has been one of the main men for a European giant over the last 10 years, and longer in fact. Giorgio Chiellini is nicknamed the Gladiator at Juventus, and it's easy to see why. Remarkably strong and brave, Chiellini is an aggressive centre-back who would willingly put his head in harm's way if it meant securing a result for the old lady, and his own face is a testament to that fact. Chiellini isn't the most glamorous on or off the pitch, but he is a fantastic leader, combining the vocal leadership qualities required to organise and encourage those around him, in addition to the fundamental principle of leading by example. Not only would Chiellini never cause you any trouble, he's a world-class defender who'd help bring out the best in those around him. Left back, James Milner. Playing out of position perhaps, but in a position in which he spent an entire season and performed admirably. I initially put James Milner in central midfield, his preferred position, when drafting this 11, but ultimately it seemed even more apt to play him out of position because it's Milner's exceptional approach in all circumstances that really mark him out as a model pro. Regardless of where he featured, there were never any doubts about James Milner's inclusion, given that he is the poster boy of professionalism in world football right now. There is perhaps no footballer who is easy to manage or more eager to impress, regardless of instruction, than James Milner. It is for that reason that Milner, who began playing Premier League football in 2002, is now a Premier League winner a whopping 18 years on. Milner's athleticism remains exceptional at the age of 34, and he shows no signs of slowing down. Defensive midfield, Fernandinho. Anyone with even the most remote understanding of football recognises the exceptional talents of Fernandinho, but I'm not sure everyone fully appreciates his character, which is just as exceptional. Despite being Man City's primary ball winner and most combative midfielder, Fernandinho has a world-class temperament and almost never loses his cool. An excellent servant to every team he has ever played for, Fernandinho has only had 3 clubs, and none have ever wanted to let him go. In addition to his attitude and work rate, Fernandinho offers genuine versatility, capable of playing anywhere throughout the spine of a team, as he has shown this season at centre-back. He is a dream for Pep Guardiola, and any manager would be lucky to have him. Central midfield, N'Golo Kante. I'm not sure there's too much I need to say about N'Golo Kante, since it is pretty universally known that he is one of the nicest people in football, with an almost peerless work rate on the pitch. Despite the titles, awards and enormous salary, Kante seems like a man who keeps his feet attached firmly to the ground, and that makes him such a positive influence in a dressing room. In terms of work rate, stamina and sheer athleticism, there are few finer in world football. Kante will run for days doing the work of 2 players, and he was a no-brainer in midfield for my easy-to-manage 11. Central midfield, Jordan Henderson. Whilst Liverpool quite clearly have a number of enormously talented players, they are very much a team in which the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, so it's little surprise that they have multiple players included in this 11. Jordan Henderson is a player who was never as bad as some people made out during his early years at Liverpool, but I must admit, never in my wildest dreams did I see him becoming the animal that he is now. Henderson's attitude is first class, and it is exemplified by his insistence on remaining at Liverpool many years ago and proving his class. He has most emphatically done that now, becoming one of the most important midfield players in Europe. Henderson has become a real leader at Anfield with an incredible work rate and an uber-professional attitude both on and off the pitch. Anyone who watched any of the crowdless Liverpool vs Crystal Palace game the other night will have heard how vocal Henderson is in organising and encouraging those around him, and it's no wonder that Liverpool looks so much more impressive when he's on the pitch. Right wing, Bernardo Silva. Joining Liverpool with 2 players in this 11, I'll be accused of being too Premier League centric in the comments, I've no doubt, but both Liverpool and Man City have squads packed full of model professionals. Bernardo Silva is a manager's dream in more ways than one, given the incredible amount of ground that he covers, his excellent attitude and application, and his outstanding versatility. As I've said in the past, given Bernardo Silva's flair, skill and creativity, he could play for a top club as a luxury player, a passenger, someone who you put up with, offering little defensively because they are so dangerous when they're on the ball. Despite all that talent, Bernardo is the complete opposite. He is tenacious, tireless, and incredibly hardworking. A no-brainer on the right flank as far as I'm concerned. Left wing, Marc Albrighton. He might not be as big of a name or as big of a talent as the likes of Bernardo Silva and N'Golo Kante, but Marc Albrighton is up there with the best in terms of his professionalism and desirability from a manager's point of view. Albrighton, we ought not forget, was released by Aston Villa in 2014 following 2 seasons in and out of Paul Lambert's starting 11. He joined newly promoted Leicester City, and after a slow start, his introduction for the run-in played a vital role in the Fox's famous Great Escape. What happened the following season is well known, and Albrighton's role in that success shouldn't be underplayed. There are few more industrious and hard-working wide men on the planet, and I think Albrighton is a worthy inclusion alongside some admittedly bigger names in this 11. Centre forward, Andrea Belotti. To understand the brilliance of Andrea Belotti, I'm probably best handing you over to the expert opinion of Arrigo Sacchi. The legendary Italian boss said of Belotti, quote, "He's an example because God didn't bless him with huge talent, but with greater values like generosity, enthusiasm, and passion." Close quote. That pretty much sums up Torino's talisman, who has now become an excellent centre-forward due to his effort and application. Never one to cause trouble or lose his cool, Belotti is like Italian football's anti-Balotelli. Belotti's work rate has allowed him to craft himself into one of Serie A's most consistent marksmen, having scored 86 goals in 181 games since signing for Torino in 2015. I had plenty of options at centre forward, some of whom I will now mention, but none finer than Andrea Belotti. So that is it for my easy to manage starting 11, but I will tell you a few of the players who came closest to featuring. But firstly though, I took the executive decision to just leave out Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. There are arguments to be made both for and against both players being easy to manage, although any manager would of course love to have either at their disposal. Ultimately, for the purposes of an 11 like this, I just think they're a bit obvious and uninteresting, and I'd actually like to leave them out of more 11s in the future just because it opened things up a bit. Everyone knows about Ronaldo's dedication and Messi's first-class temperament, but it's perhaps a little bit more interesting to discuss Bernardo Silva, Marc Albrighton, and Andrea Belotti. Right. With the Messi and Ronaldo disclaimer out of the way, here are some players who aren't called Messi and Ronaldo and just didn't feature because I picked other players ahead of them. Between the sticks, my number 2 would be Gianluigi Buffon, a first-class professional and one of the greatest goalkeepers of all time. In defence, the likes of Daley Blind and Alessandro Florenzi can consider themselves unfortunate, meanwhile the greatest plethora of options came in midfield. Marco Parolo, Lassie Schoen, Luka Modric, Blaise Matuidi, Sven Kuhns, Lars Bender, Idrissa Gueye and João Moutinho all earn honourable mentions, but I couldn't drop Fernandinho, Kante or Henderson. Finally, in the forward areas, Teemu Pukki is deserving of an honourable mention, as is Liverpool forward Roberto Firmino. Firmino, in particular, has an exceptional work rate and is such a selfless footballer, and he would be a very worthy inclusion. I just felt Andrea Belotti was an even stronger shout given how much he has achieved in relation to his talents. That's it for today's video. Thank you all for watching. As ever, give us a like if you enjoyed the video, let us know your thoughts in the comments, and make sure that you are subscribed to HITC Sevens.